So guys, moving right along in my 3D display hunt, and by the way, that last little spiel of my first display with water and lasers, that took me about a month to build and realize that it was crap, and this next idea took about, this was probably another month of working before I realized it wouldn't work at all. So this was the L design. Obviously, it's all rusted now. This was a year ago. So in here, very hard to see. It's actually 3D printed. The bottom of it, and that's so that the laser galvo inside could be placed exactly, so that I could program it with precision. But that doesn't make any sense because you don't even know what I'm talking about. So let's start from the beginning. Basically, we had an idea that, well, first of all, we knew that to make a 3D display, it's got to be something with lasers. Lasers are what's going to do this. It's just what kind of lasers. I mean, there's no other way you can manipulate space unless you're using laser or some sort of field. But a laser is the best way because it's directional light. Sure, you can make a display with something spinning really fast, but that's not a real display because if you put your finger in there, you're going to lose it. So basically, we thought that if two lasers interact when they shine at each other, then you'll make a dot of light, and we can move that dot of light around with programming. So we thought the only error here should be the programming. And this seems dumb now because I know a lot about lasers. I build lasers, and they're just photons. They're weightless photons. They don't interact with one another. So when two lasers cross paths, for the most part, you're going to see nothing. I mean, you're really going to see nothing. They're not going to interfere with each other. They're just going to go right through each other. But we thought that would work, and the person who I was working with was really good. He was smart, very creative, but he was so creative that we would actually build designs and focus on how we were going to build it and what it was going to look like before we would actually put logic to it. So this was our design, called it the L design. And basically you'd have a laser galvanometer here, which is that 90-degree angle with two mirrors on it. I actually have it. This is weird. I just discovered that it's broken. But that is it. Basically there's two mirrors there, and wow. That is disappointing. It's okay, didn't know how to program the thing anyway. So basically that would go right here, and one would go right here, and a laser would hit this one, and I can move it in the X and Y, and a laser would hit this one, I can move it in the X and Y. And obviously if you can move something this way, and you can move another thing this way or this way, you have three-dimensional space to move in. So it was a good idea, except we started listing off lasers. In fact, we wrote a list of every single laser, and I'll show you that here. And we were going to research it to see which one could maybe interact with, because we thought, so in a helium neon laser, we thought that in the actual beam of the helium neon laser, there were particles of helium and neon that you could shine another laser at, and the light would scatter off those particles. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. A helium neon laser uses helium neon in the chamber, and when you excite those molecules to a high energy level and they come back down, they produce an orangish reddish wave. I actually have a helium neon laser right behind me. But come on, hold on. So here was, so on the bottom there, and I know you're not going to be able to read them, but that's a list, and each column is a new laser, such as neodymium YAG laser, conductive polymer laser, uranium laser, Raman laser, excimer laser. And we were researching these, thinking that one of these particles could react with a laser beam. We were going to use infrared distance sensor to sense the gestures such as a swipe or holding on, because it was very cheap, and with the right programming you can make it do a lot of actions. But the design went to crap for a couple reasons. One, we started realizing that I could not program that laser galvanometer that I just realized was broken right now, because the person we bought it from, it wasn't meant to be programmed. It was meant to be just put back in a machine that ran it, such as like an RGB module, something like that. So that didn't work, and then obviously lasers don't interact with other lasers, so that's the lesson to get out of this. But before I go, this was actually my first prototype of this build. See, I actually bought pans from Dollar General and cut the pans up, and this is the design I made. Just when we would go and have meetings about this stuff. And I painted Tom on there because that's what we were going to call it. And then before we actually quit, we decided that the L should be 3D printed. So the whole structure would be 3D printed, and this is very sturdy. This is where the laser galvanometer is. This is for an ultrasonic sensor. Let's slide right in there. And funny enough, see how this is open? We were actually afraid to use glass because we thought the particles then couldn't travel through glass. So yeah, just very funny. Arduino would go here, that'd be our controller, a microprocessor, and then another arm of the L would come out here, but we never printed it because we gave up. So lasers don't interact with other lasers. But that's it, guys. So if you're working on this right now and you're thinking, oh my god, this is groundbreaking, stop, because lasers do not interact with other lasers. And if they do, it's because you're using an X-ray laser and something else that's dangerous, and you're just going to end up killing people or giving them cancer. So lasers don't interact with lasers. The next thing I'll move on to is ionization, which is actually a pretty good idea, but not the way that we used it. So yeah, there's actually 2 designs in the next one, so we'll get right to the next one.